This is Rocky, and this is a YouTube video. One was shot on a budget of $1 million, and the other, well, with no budget. Just me, my camera, and a friend. But the shots look pretty similar, right? Yeah. Well, they both use the same technique, the tracking shot. And what about this? Well, I'm not Quentin Tarantino, but I do know how to do a crash zoom. And this? I don't have a Snorricam, but I have a tripod. See, special shots in movies are usually filmed on expensive rigs that as solo filmmakers, we don't have access to. But I found ways to recreate these shots on a budget with gear that you might already have. And I'm here to tell you how. All right, let's go back to the first effect. Rocky's tracking shot. Before getting into how to recreate this shot, there's some specifics to keep in mind. So this particular scene in Rocky was shot in an open space, right? It was shot in some big docks, and I wanted that same sense of depth. I live right next to an open field, which was the perfect location for this scene. This location is important for this scene too, since we're gonna need enough space for a car. To do this effect, you're gonna wanna follow the movement of your subject. This was done by mounting my camera on my car and having my friend help out by driving side by side next to me while I was running, or in front of me at the same speed. We used a car mount, this thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty expensive, but it's not something you wanna cheap out on because obviously, I mean, you're putting your camera on top of a car, and if it falls off, well, you're pretty much done. So, and by the way, all the gear that I'm gonna be showing is gonna be in the description if you wanna get it. And this isn't sponsored, it's gear that I actually use. To get the best looking footage, we had to match the speed of the car with the speed of my running. And this was actually pretty hard to do since we couldn't talk to each other, right? He was in the car, I was in the back running. And it took a couple of tries to get the right pace. But once we were able to find that exact speed, we ran into another problem, which was bumpy roads. Every little vibration of the car is picked up by the camera since it's mounted directly on it, right? But once I got it into DaVinci, just add a little bit of stabilizer, the magic sauce, and everything was looking good. So that's the tracking shot. I'm pretty happy with the results we got. Next is Quentin Tarantino's iconic. All you're gonna need for this shot is a zoom lens with a long focal length, like this one. This is an 85 to 210 f4.5. I got it off of Facebook Marketplace for $10. To put it on my camera, I needed a converter like this. I think this was $30, so $40 in total for this effect. You also need a tripod, but if you don't have one, I don't know what you're doing. Go get a tripod. So this shot is pretty simple. It just takes a few tries. All you have to do is twist from zoomed out to zoomed in. But the tricky part is you have to keep your camera steady while doing this. You just gotta practice zooming in quick without shaking the camera. And if it still moves, you can always just hit it with the warp stabilizer. All right, next is the Snorricam, one of my personal favorites. I've seen this used in movies, music videos, fashion ads. It's an eye-catching effect that I personally really like to see, and all you need for it is a tripod and 2 belts. All right, let me try reenacting this. So, you're gonna mount your camera on here. You're gonna have your belt in your pants, obviously. I don't have a belt on right now, but you're gonna extend these 2 legs out here, and this leg right here, you're gonna tuck it inside your front belt without hitting your nuts. Once you have it set up like this with the 2 tripod legs around you, you're gonna grab the second belt. Let me go get an actual belt, bro. All right. Tie it around like this. Holy shit. Don't do that. And attach it like this. This is the budget Snorricam right here. And if it gets too heavy, you could always just hold onto these tripod legs. You could also do this shot from the back angle. The only problem with this, instead of the tripod being up your nuts.
Oh, it's up my ass.
Anyways, enjoy the footage that I took with this setup. So that's the Snorricam. Next, POV shots. And these use my favorite tool tool as a filmmaker, which is the magic arm. Basically, you have one end to screw your camera in and the other a clamp, so you could put it onto basically anything. I've attached my camera to doors, bikes, hoses, shopping carts, really lighters, really like literally anything you could think of, you could put your camera onto it and get a cool perspective. And yeah, the magic arm is $40 Canadian, so it's pretty cheap for a filmmaking tool. Next is the underwater shot. This shot produced some of my favorite footage, but it was also the sketchiest effect to reproduce because I had to use this thing, which is basically a glorified Ziploc bag. And it scared me a lot to use it because none of the instructions for this thing were in English. It gave me cheap AliExpress vibes, you know? I really didn't like it. But I really wanted to do these shots, so I gave it a try after a little bit of testing, obviously. We just went with it and the shots came out amazing. I really loved them. The only tip I could give for this shot is shooting at a very high frame rate if you want to get that floaty look in water. Other than risking hypothermia, these shots are pretty easy to do.
June 29th. I gotta get in shape now. Too much sitting has ruined my body. Too much abuse has gone on for too long. From now on, it'll be 50 push-ups each morning, 50 pull-ups. There'll be no more pills.
The gimbal shot. Depending on what you want to shoot, handheld shots can give you a natural look because of that shakiness you get in the footage, or like a hectic look if you're moving really fast, like say following somebody running. For shots that you want a smooth motion, you're gonna want to have a gimbal. This is the most expensive accessory on the list, but it is well worth it. I've used it in almost all of my commercial or client shoots. And an added benefit of the gimbal is most of them come with an app that you could program motion on your gimbal. So let's say you want your camera to pan from down to up, you could program it and it'll do that motion for you. I've gotten some really cool shots doing this, but the shots we're comparing ourselves to today are from Taxi Driver, a classic. It's as simple as following the motion in the shot. And the gimbal takes care of the smooth motion, you just need practice to use it properly. So for this shot, again, I had a friend, Raj, help me out, and all I asked him to do for this shot was follow the movement of my head as I was doing a pull-up, like we saw in Taxi Driver. It took a couple of tries because he's still rusty with the gimbal, but the shots came out pretty smooth. And I of course used some warp stabilizer. And yeah, those are all the effects that I've used to try to make my videos look a little bit more like movies. I'm trying to mix in more of these kinds of videos into my channel where I could share some of my knowledge. And if this kind of educational, behind the scenes kind of content interests you, I'm gonna be opening a Patreon soon to really give away all of the secrets I've learned over filming these past 2 years. I'm gonna be doing Q&As, I'm gonna be giving out guides and tutorials on there, sharing how I make money doing this, doing some breakdowns of my videos, going in depth on my editing, color grading, all of that is gonna be on there. I'm gonna start working on it. So you guys are gonna be able to check it out very soon. So I'm gonna be putting that in the description as well if you wanna follow it. It feels good to be talking to the camera again. I feel like I haven't done that in a while. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.